Hey everybody, Diesel here from Imagine Your Goddess, and I am giving you a Link Joker deck profile of Messiah. I've been playing Messiah recently because I got a hold of the cards and I just decided I wanted to try the build, and it's kind of fun, so I figured I'd show you how to build it. The first thing I'll show you is Neon Messiah. I run 1, obviously. He is a Forerunner, and he has Generation Break 1. After he unlocks, you can put him in your soul. And if you do, search your deck for a grade 3 with Messiah in its card name and put it into your hand. This allows you to get more strides off. And this is a very stride-heavy deck. So I guess I'll show you the strides first. I run 4 copies of Big Crunch Dragon. Big Crunch Dragon, his activated ability is once per turn. You can counterblast 1 and choose a Big Crunch and put it face up. Persona Flip or whatever that's called. And then it lets you lock down one of your opponent's rearguard circles as long as you have 2 face-up or 2 or more face-up cards in your G-Zone. You pick one of the rear guards and lock all rear guards in that column. And they can't be unlocked during the opponent's next turn, so Omega locking the column is pretty good. Then I run 2 copies of Judgment Messiah. It is a stride that when it hits a Vanguard, you get to lock one of your opponent's back row units and unlock one of your own units if you so choose. It's pretty cool. And then there are 2 copies of Amnesty Messiah. Counterblast 1, when he attacks, unlock as many locked creatures as you want. For each one that you unlock, he gets +3, and if you do 3 or more, he gets an additional crit. He is sort of the ending idea of this deck. You lock a bunch of stuff, and then you unlock 3 key things that won't hurt you to unlock, and give him +9 an additional crit. It's really, really nice. So, briefly I'll talk about triggers, but you guys know me and triggers and why I do what I do. 4 copies of the heal trigger. 8 crit triggers of whatever origin. And then this deck runs 4 draw triggers. It runs the Margle clone, put in soul and give something +3. Not only does that help you hit numbers, but it gives you soul for the Soul Blast in this deck, which is Alter Ego Messiah, which I'll talk about later. Then, in grade 1s, I'm running 4 copies of the Perfect Shield. This is one of the Perfect Shields that only works for Vanguard, but does flip a damage face up. It runs 2 copies of the 8K booster, 4 copies of the Stride Fodder, which is called Destiny Dealer, and 4 copies of Dark Metal Chameleon. Dark Metal Chameleon is a 7K grade 1 with resist, and G-Break 1, if you unlock him, unflip a damage. Very, very useful in this deck because you are very counterblast heavy, but the deck tends to recycle its counterblast really well. So it gives you multiple chances to do what you do. You really want to get one of those on the board if you can, but sometimes it's hard. Then finally, grade 2s, I run 3 copies of Starvader Astro Reaper. He's the Legion for Dark Zodiac. His ability is when he's on the rear guard, if you attack and hit a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and pick a card that has the same name as the one in your Vanguard circle, and put it in your hand. I run 3 copies of Lady Battler of the Gravity Well. She has an activated ability that's once per turn. GB1, you can lock one of your own units to give her +3 until end of turn. Her with a Sleep Messiah means 21k columns. So, pretty decent. I also run Blast Monk of the Thundering Foot, who has GB1 when he attacks. I can choose a lock card and unlock it, and if I do, it gives him +4 until end of turn. So again, hitting numbers, and you can like lock a unit with with Lady Battler, and then unlock that unit when he attacks, and you get the benefits of both. Finally, I run 2 copies of Sunset Edge Duskblade. It's GV1 when it attacks a Vanguard and it's boosted. You may counterblast 1. If you do, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards and lock it. It's just another good lock functionality, and I think that it's very worthwhile to add pressure to the locking that's going on. I run 4 copies of Dark Zodiac. Dark Zodiac being the Legions with Astro Reaper. Its activated ability is you can ditch a card in your hand that has the same name as something on the Vanguard circle, so him or Astro Reaper, and lock a front row unit and a back row unit. And then if you Legion him, you can counterblast 1, and during that time you choose 2 of your opponent's, or all of your opponent's locked cards become Omega locked instead. So it's very useful, but I really only go into Dark Zodiac if I don't hit the number of strides, the number of grade 3s and stride fodders I want to hit, because he's just there to kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak, until you can actually do some striding. This is the main grade 3 of the deck, Alter Ego Messiah. He has 2 abilities. His first ability is a Heartbreak. When you stride over him, you counterblast 1 and lock one of your own rear guards in order to lock one of your opponent's rear guards and give the stride plus 5,000. You will do this every time that you can stride. The other ability is G-Break 2, Soul Blast 1. When a lock card is unlocked, you can Soul Blast 1 and draw a card. That's a very useful effect for getting your hand advantage back after having a couple turns of, pretty low hand advantage moments. So his ability, though, is what makes the deck run the way that it runs. So what you do is you ride into Alter Ego, you stride immediately into Judgment. You lock one of your units to lock one of theirs, and then you hope that he hits so that you can lock another one of their units and unlock your unit. Hopefully that would be the Messiah so that you can search for another Alter Ego. Then the next turn you want to go into a Big Crunch and Omega lock a row. And then you're giving yourself some time to get to draw some cards with Alter Ego's effect. And then once you're feeling like you're in a pretty good position, you got enough locked units on board, you eventually ride into Amnesty Messiah, attack with it, and use its ability to unlock maybe 1 or 2 of your own rear guards based on the grade 2s that you're using to lock, and unlock one of their rear guard units that doesn't change anything, and you give +9, get an extra crit, and hopefully your opponent just doesn't have anything to block with. But one of the benefits of this deck is survivability. It draws a lot of cards toward the end of the game, and being able to consistently triple drive and then draw cards and then triple drive and draw cards, you're going to keep enough hand to block what your opponent's sending at you. The downside of this deck is it has been known to deck out under the wrong conditions. If you're not being careful and making sure that you have exactly the number of cards you need and no more or less, you can set up something that doesn't work quite as well as you'd like to. That's really the long and short of the deck. I encourage you to give it a shot. Make sure you send me in the comments what you think. I know some people prefer the grade 1 promo that just came out, which I'm not going to really get into, but I just don't find the numbers necessary. But if you guys do, or if you have any other problems, be sure to send me a comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. This is Diesel sending you a new deck list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one.